Alright, folks. Y'all saw me tear down that old microwave. When y'all dealing with a microwave, you get into the guts. There's one thing you want to make absolute certain of. This thing right here has been discharged. This is the capacitor. A capacitor is like a battery. It'll take a charge. It'll soak up electricity and build it up, and hold that electricity in it, that charge. This thing has not been discharged. Well, let's just say this. Your spouse is going to be putting you in a grave because if you touch it and it hasn't been discharged and it discharges on you, you're simply just dead. That's all there is to it. Because this come out of what, 1100, 1500 watts?
1500.
1500 watts. 1500 watts, folks, is a lot. The radio equipment that I dealt with when I was in the military wasn't 400 watts out the antenna. And it would fry a monkey through and through. This thing weighs about somewhere between 10 and 20 pounds. This little sucker is heavy. It's solid steel, little steel plates all put together, copper wound inside of it.
Show them the sides. We're talking about copper wound inside of it.
Yeah, copper
right there.
Wound inside of it, going through all that. Those of you out there that knows about electronics already know this. Those of you that deal with appliances already know this. Anybody, you happen to get a hankering to want to tear a microwave down, you want to look for this thing and do not touch it unless you're absolutely certain it has been discharged. You take a screwdriver, well-insulated screwdriver, to the ends on it, and touch them to it like you would the solenoid of a car if you're trying to start a car. Well, at least it used to be. You can't do that now. Like older cars, you could. And you do that and make sure that thing is discharged. Because if you go messing around with that thing with your hands and it ain't been discharged, it's been good knowing you. You ain't going to come up off of that one. It'll kill you. The bottom line, it will kill you. No ifs, ands, or buts, no second chances, no maybes, ifs or whats or how abouts. You're done. So I was going to take this apart, cut it apart. I didn't cut those pieces down on the microwave either. I said, heck with it. I folded the black cover piece over where it'd be folded down and put a lot of the parts inside the inside part of the microwave, all like that, to stack it in there. And this is the only thing left out of that microwave that hadn't been put in the car to be took off to a metal scrapping place. I got started on the water heater. I'll show y'all some of that. I hadn't took no video so far, but I'll show y'all some of that. And I'm going to tell you, that water heater was an A.O. something.
A.O. Smith.
A.O. Smith.
That's what we've got down there now. The new one is an A.O. Smith.
And if that new one's built anything like that old one was, it'll last a very long time. Because I'm going to tell y'all, folks, as rusted out as that old one is, and everything, and as messed up as it is, use and time and everything, that sucker is hard to get apart. They got 3 different types of insulation inside that thing. They've got the fiberglass wrapped around the tanks. They got styrofoam on the bottom. And they got spray foam type of insulation stuffed in it everywhere else. There's a little hole in the top of it that they cap off. You can tell that's where they put the spout to put that foam insulation in. Boy, let me tell you, that stuff's packed in there tight. I've been trying to scrape it out with a screwdriver, break off pieces of it. That stuff is very light, but let me tell you, that's some tough stuff. it was a good thing that we went with a new water heater, because there would have been no changing out the elements on that thing this time. They were locked in. I could not get them loose at all. And that was using a wrench that's designed for taking out and putting in those elements. Would not budge. Pipe wrench would not budge. So it was done. The bottom line to it, I took off the pop-off valve on that thing. There's some slimy, sludgy stuff inside of there. So it's just a good thing we went and did with new water heater, because that one was just flat out done. Any way you slice it, it was done. But to put as much service in as it did, that A.O. Smith, I'm gonna tell you, that's a good water heater. So, and that's what we got to replace it. We got to do some adjustments on it, but once we do, we'll be real good with that. We got the hot water. That's not a problem. Just don't have the pressure. The pressure regulator we put in set at 50. Well, apparently that's not good enough, because it don't put out like it did before with the old one. But we need to replace that too, because that old one is done put in its time too. It was due for a change. Anyway, that's a capacitor. Anybody knows anything about electronics knows what that thing is, knows what it can do, and knows what I said is true. This thing, if not discharged, will kill you if it discharges into you. So, that's it, folks. That's the video. Piggy done.